I'm not commenting on that just for legal purposes, but there you go. With that being said, Kevin, now beyond Adam Copeland, the other thing we want to talk with you for a while about, and we're going to do this now. AEW Fight Forever. This was a thing years ago. For years, AEW Fight Forever. It's in development. It's in works. They're working on the video game. They're making it perfect. It's like a sort of a WWE All Stars, but a really modern day sort of fun wrestling video game. You're more of a gamer out of us two. I want your opinion. Like in your pecking order of games, just gaming generally. How's it going? Because there was so much buzz, years of build. Is it a game you're playing a lot? Is it a game which you just don't even want to buy? Where are you at with it?
Well, I don't even own it. The only way that I was gonna get it, I reached out to AEW's PR, and I was like, "Hey, I'll do a review of my channel. Here's my channel. Send me a copy. I'll do a review." Never heard back from them. I can't justify spending $59 on a game like that. One, like it's not a financial thing. It's like I'm gonna buy a game for $59. That's probably worth like $29. I'd say like that's probably the worth I would put on it right now.
Yeah.
And for what? Like I'm gonna play it for like 4 hours, make a video about it, and then never play it again. Like it just doesn't make any sense for me. And the buzzword, like you said, All Stars, but the buzzword that Kenny Omega used when promoting this game was No Mercy. WWF No Mercy, the Nintendo 64 game, widely regarded as the greatest game of all time, one of, at least with Here Comes the Pain, probably the two best games of all time. And there's SVR07 and so many others. But you see Kenny Omega doing the media tour, the media run. He's like, oh, we're making a No Mercy style game. Now, right off the bat, that's lofty expectations to live up to already for this game. Then on top of that, they didn't deliver on that in any way, shape, or form. It really just, it's been a flop. To put it quite frankly, it's been a flop of a game. Somebody posted on Twitter like the amount of players in the community on Steam.
Yep.
I don't know if you're familiar with Steam, but Steam is like
Yep.
what people on PC use. So that's the PC platform. There's like 20 people I think concurrently playing it in the world, or something like that. Like when that picture was posted.
Yep, I've got that in front of me. So this is the AEW Fight Forever, the all-time peak, which is when the game came out, like months and months
And
back.
this is Steam, right?
Yeah, this is on Steam. You had 1,400 people like on launch, which it's the launch, I guess. Okay, it's not ideal. But recently, the last month, the 24-hour peak, you had 40 people playing, and just generally, you have like 20 or 30 people playing the game. Which I don't know how many millions the game cost. That's up in the air. Was it $15 million? Was it $5 million?
I've seen people report that AEW spent $50 million on that game. Yeah.
How much?
50. I don't know how true that is, but that's the highest number I've seen thrown out there. I do know that they're in the red. I know that. They spent way more than they made. Yeah, that's bananas.
That is nuts. That's almost as absurd as Tony Khan paying whatever you said in I think the last podcast regarding Ring of Honor.
Yeah,
how it was like
million,
it was like 6 times more for Ring of Honor in 2023 than Vince McMahon paid for World Championship Wrestling in 2001. It's absurd. So yeah, those numbers alone, no one's talking about this game. There's no buzz. There's nothing. I mean, you haven't even bought it because it's overpriced. There's not like Kevin. I don't know. That needs to be highlighted as well because we even mentioned this on the podcast before. We even discussed Fight Forever. I mean, on my YouTube channel since 2020 when they put an advertisement out. Same with you. In 3 years, all this build up, 40, 50, 30, who knows how many millions of dollars, and 28 people playing live at the same time. And maybe we'll include consoles, maybe 100 people across the whole entire world at the same time are playing this game.
Well, let's be fair for a moment. Steam is, I would say, the 4th most popular platform that the game is on. It's on Xbox, PlayStation, and Nintendo Switch. Steam is just not very popular for like sports games and like more mainstream games. PC players are more like hardcore gamers. So your average PC player doesn't play like Call of Duty or like Madden or anything like that on their PC, even though it is an option. So you know, some people will use that number, that Steam number, to kind of bury AEW and poke fun of them. I'm sure the
Yeah.
number's a little bit better across the Xbox, the PlayStation, and Switch.
You'd hope for $50 million. You'd
Yeah,
really hope.
yeah, you'd
You'd really
hope.
hope.
So now to get more in the weeds a little bit on
Hmm.
this, the game came out in June. I want to say June, early July.
Yeah.
And so either way, it's been less than 4 months, and they've already released all their DLC for season one. Usually WWE they do it over like 6 months typically. They just burn through all their DLC. It was a sloppy release in terms of like pretty much everything. Like one of the big game modes was like mini games where you're like you could be like Britt Baker like throwing a ball in a hoop in an arcade. Like who wants to do that? Like who wants to play skee ball? Like who buys a wrestling game to play skee ball and like capture the flag? And I don't know the specific game modes, but they had like these ridiculous like arcade games. That was a big mode they were pushing. Um, on top of that, Cody Rhodes is in the game. CM Punk's in the game. Uh, People like that. But people that are not in the game, like Swerve Strickland, Soraya, some big names like that that people want to see in the game. There's some other big names missing too. I can't think of them off the top of my head. Obviously, Adam Copeland's not in it, but it's like it was an incomplete game from launch. From what I read, from the reviews I saw, it came out and it wasn't finished. It came out as like a prototype, like a demo, which that happens a lot. You know, it's common in gaming nowadays. The
Yeah.
biggest example was Cyberpunk. When that dropped a few years ago, it was an incomplete game. They just got it out because it had been in development for almost a decade. They're like, we have to get this out, and they fixed it on the fly. And they made it a great game. Maybe AEW and THQ can do that. They certainly have Shad Khan's money, so I'm sure they could. But this was an instance with this game where you're already competing against WWE in this space already. And WWE, they're making good games now. It's not like if they had dropped this game when 2K20 was still a thing, they would have had more momentum. But WWE has had 2 years now with 2K22 and 23 where they've made pretty solid games. They got back on the track. So there wasn't really a need for an alternative game at this point. Like people want to play as Edge, like okay, I'll put it this way. I don't mean this to be scathing or harsh, but in WWE with the universe mode and the Great Creation series in 2K23, you can make a better AEW video game on your own and create all the AEW characters you want. You could put the Young Bucks, you could put Kenny Omega, you could put the Lucha Bros, whoever you want to put in the game. Soraya, Britt Baker, you can create all these characters. You can create the Dynamite stage. You can create the Double or Nothing stage. You can do all that in 2K23, and it'll be better than Fight Forever. They have nothing to it that makes you want to go back to it. The story mode was egregious from what I saw. It just looked like it looked like a game that was meant to be in like '05, '06. Like if you're watching some of the dialogue, some of the cutscenes, just didn't look like a professionally made or a ready for launch game. It was like a demo.
Yeah, I guess there you have it. We'll leave it there for today. If you've played AW Fight Forever, let us know. I mean, your thoughts are. Whether you agree with Kevin, whether you think it's a great game, whether you hate it, whether you're not wasting your money on it. There's that. Adam Copeland. Are we looking too much into this, or is this going to be the first of many of these instances to come? Are we going to be making videos every week about Adam Copeland and another shoot line, which has triggered a story where Tony Khan's in fear of his life because Adam Copeland headlocked Ricky Starks backstage? Are we going to get to that point? Who knows? That being said, Kevin, unless there's anything more you want to say here? It's been a good one, pal. Hopefully, if you haven't yet, check out our top 10 greatest wrestlers of all time podcast. That's doing well so far. Engagement's pretty good so far. Give us a look. Let us know. Check out Spotify. Sub to the YouTube if you haven't already. This has been a late hate. Peace.
Peace.